Miyamoto Musashi. On a foggy morning in the year 1584, a child was born in a small village hidden among the mountains of Japan. The village was called Miyamoto. It was a place where the wind blew slowly, where time was in no hurry. His mother named him Benosuke. But the name was cut short before it could settle on lips. The woman could not hold on to life during childbirth. As the child took his first breath, he met his mother's last. The world took something from him right at the beginning. His father was never known. After his mother, the only figure tying him to life was his stepfather, Shinmen Munisai. Munisai was a master of the sword, a man without limits when it came to anger. He was harsh, cold. He saw love as weakness. Childhood in that house was not a shelter, but a threshold that had to be crossed again and again. Beatings, shouting, silences. When Munisai threw him out of the house at the age of 6, it was not just a door that closed. A path opened. Benosuke found himself at the gate of a temple. The uncle who took him in was a Buddhist monk, a quiet, gentle man who did not consume the world in haste. Days passed with the sound of sutras, the smell of incense, long silences. But the fire inside the child did not go out. It simply became invisible. It went deeper. It waited. When he was 12, he saw a poster hanging in town. It was a challenge. A warrior named Arima Kihei was calling anyone who wished to test themselves to a duel. Benosuke took a long staff in his hand. There was no sword, but there was intent. He found Arima. When the duel began, Arima drew his sword. The child did not speak. He circled. A moment came. The staff swung. The sword fell to the ground. Fear leaked from Arima's eyes. In that moment there was no thought, no calculation. The blow came from instinct. Arima collapsed. He was alive, but no longer in his old world. His uncle was not pleased with this path. He wanted him to stay away from violence, to choose enlightenment. For a while he obeyed, but some paths call a person. At 15, a man named Tadashima Akiyama demanded a duel. This duel ended in death. There was no turning back. Benosuke left his name there. He set out as Miyamoto Musashi. His body grew, hardened. He became larger, heavier, quieter than everyone around him. As Japan approached the end of a century of wars, everyone was choosing sides. Musashi passed through this current as well. He fought in small skirmishes. He missed the great battlefield. But history loved gaps. Centuries later, someone would write that he had been there. People would believe it, because the told story always stepped ahead of the truth. Musashi kept walking. He sought opponents. He went to Kyoto. He found the famous sword school that his father had once defeated. The head of the school, Yoshioka Seijuro, received him with anger. When the day of the duel came, Musashi was late. For hours. When Seijuro's anger turned into blindness, the wooden sword came down on his shoulder, a cracking sound. Sometimes lives change direction with a single sound. But the school did not fall silent. The brother came. He was killed with a single strike. Then a 12-year-old child. This time Musashi arrived early. He hid. He understood that this was not a duel, but an ambush. The child died. Then the crowd attacked. Musashi left the city soaked in blood. A school was erased from history. His path crossed with monks. This time there was no death. There was respect. He encountered his father again. The idea of the two swords took shape there. Opponents multiplied, chain and sickles, staffs, spears. All were overcome. And then came Sasaki Kojiro, an island, sunset. Musashi deliberately arrived late. He took the sun behind him. In his hand was a wooden sword carved from an oar. A single strike. Kojiro fell. The island would now be remembered by another name. The summit was quiet. A school was opened, closed. Service was given. Children were adopted, lost. Years flowed by. The sword gave way to the brush. Poems were written. Then illness came. Pain ran through the nerves like fire. Musashi withdrew to a cave. He wrote his final book. The Book of Five Rings, a text that spoke more of life than of the sword. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything, he wrote. In the summer of 1645, he took his final bath. He put on his finest clothes. He placed his sword beside him. He sat at the mouth of the cave. He watched order, silence, the world. No one noticed immediately that he had died. Days later, a monk approached. His body had not decayed. There was no fear on his face, as if he were still watching. His belongings were gathered. His writings were given to his most trusted student. The text did not spread immediately. It was read. Read again. Understanding took time. Musashi's name first circulated among warriors. Then it moved to other places. Swords fell silent, but words kept walking. Even centuries later, when someone chose to wait, when someone did not hurry, when someone cared more about standing correctly than about winning, that story was still going on, quietly, without drawing attention. And the story did not end here, because some lives do not end with breath. Some paths continue to be walked, even when the footprints are erased. As Musashi's body sat silently at the mouth of the cave, the wind moved in and out. It neither hurried nor stopped. Just like him, his sword did not rust. His brush did not dry. Because the true weapon was no longer what was held in the hand. The real battle had already ended, long ago, outside. Nights later, people approached the cave. Some were warriors, some farmers, some simply men who had lost their way. None of them said they saw a corpse inside, only an emptiness. Yet a full emptiness. The silence was heavy, instructive. One could hear one's own inner voice more clearly there. As time passed, the name of the cave changed. Then it vanished from maps. But something strange happened. The same stance, the same waiting began to appear in different bodies. A child learned to pause before drawing his sword. A man chose not to enter a fight he could have won. Another chose to arrive late, and precisely because of that was there at the right moment. No one saw Musashi, but everyone encountered him. One morning, in a misty valley, an old monk said to his students, "The path abandons not the one who walks, but the one who rushes." Who wrote this, who heard it, who passed it on, no one knew. But the words found their place. Because true teachings bear no signature, they become echoes. Musashi's life was not a series of victories, it was a search. And a search does not end when it is found. It deepens, it grows silent, it becomes invisible. Like the surface of water growing still while the depths grow dark. If one day you are forced to wait, if one day you stop while everyone else runs, if one day you choose the right stance instead of winning, know that in that moment you are not alone. Somewhere, in a timeless emptiness, a man is still sitting, his sword on the ground, his eyes open, watching the world. And the story, without making a sound, continues.